if you're here, you said earlier that you have a team in place to do things. If you have 500 employees, like I have a team of 8.
Right.
Like sometimes I'm like, oh my God, how? I mean, earliest you had a little bit larger team, had to do some layoffs. That sucked. Well, just having that is like, it's so stressful. Employees in general are stressful. I can't imagine having 500.
So a big bulk of those are like drivers. So you got drivers, dispatchers, as far as like the Amazon side of that. So we have a full organizational chart, something else I learned from Boardroom. So, you know, it just breaks down through the levels. So we have majority of the drivers is not really something that would need to be reported on. They report directly back to the dispatchers. The dispatcher reports back to the operations manager. Operations manager basically handles everything and then reports back to us.
So you have levels of separation.
Yeah.
So as long as like this whole thing as a whole is getting done, that's good enough for you.
Vertical or horizontal or flat leaders org chart?
Vertical.
Me too. That's big fan of that.
Yeah, same.
Just a huge believer in the Napoleonic concept of span of control. The U.S. Fire Service uses it as well. As you know, no one person can effectively manage more than 4 people simultaneously, and it's actually the concept that actually determined the entire structure of the U.S. Marine Corps. Right? Like there is one commandant. He's like the only one there's one of. Well, him and the sergeant major of the Marine Corps. But then there's like 4 MEFs, and then there's inside each MEF there's 4 divisions, and inside each division there's 4 regiments, and inside each regiment there's 4 battalions, and each side battalion there's 4 companies, 4 platoons, 4 squads, all the way down to the 4 fire teams, and each fire team has 4 people.
It's accountability, right? So you're able to say, you're able to delegate and then hold them people accountable for what they were supposed to do.
I think
very important.
What Tim is really trying to get to is a concept called commander's intent. And I know you're going to like this one because this is what made America so successful in World War II. Because you had countries like Germany, which, you know, the Germans, I don't know if you know this, they weren't very nice and they were kind of scared of their leadership, so if they were told go this way, they would go this way.
Right.
And no matter what, they would not deviate. Whereas like in the U.S. military with commander's intent it wasn't so much go this way, it was our intent is to take that hill. So if you're the guy on the ground, if that meant go this way to get to the hill, you would.
Right.
Whereas like the Germans and other examples throughout history, they get to here and they're like, well, I can't go any further.
Right.
Because they know, or what they believe, if they go around, they could get shot by their own people. They may still take the objective, but because they didn't do it the right way, there's that fear of, I mean, especially with Russia, they would do the same thing. You know, I don't know if you want to dig into that.
I need to read about commander's intent because I love the concept of it. It makes perfect sense. And that's kind of where the whole unity of command and span of control and decentralized leadership comes from in my methodology. And so I'm happy to hear that that's what you're using because it's the only way. Like, are those drivers probably independent contractors as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. So managing all of that and who shows up and who doesn't show up and the beans, bullets, and Band-Aids behind the logistical operation, it drives you mad.
The other part is do all of it. It's empowering your team. That's all. That's all a commander's intent is.